America's back, baby.
America is back, man. I don't know if you've heard, but Trump is dominating the trade wars. Before we get to that, how you been? It's been a couple days. How was your weekend?
I'm okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long weekend.
Just
A lot of,
okay? A lot of
yeah.
working?
Yeah. Getting a lot of stuff done.
Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
I spent the weekend in Northwest Arkansas, Trump country, baby. What's
Oh,
funny is
God.
the last time I was there, it was Trump flags galore, and this time I saw almost no Trump flags, no Trump hat. So I'm not. That might not be anything, but I remember last time driving through like Siloam Springs, Bentonville, Rogers, like those areas. I remember it
Uh-huh.
was like driving through, you couldn't help but notice like this is Trump country, and then this time like. Not to mention, and the group I was with is all great people, but I believe almost all of them are Trump supporters, and like Trump never came up once this weekend. Like I think they're
Oh,
all
wow.
kind of, I think they're all burying their head in the sand and choosing not to see the news that's happening. And I, just because I'm trying to play nice, I brought nothing up. I didn't mention
Well,
tariffs at all.
yeah, and this is the thing is like, yeah. I mean, get into it with my dad like every time, and he's like, we shouldn't talk politics anymore, and then he brings it up every
Yeah,
time we talk, and then I'm like bringing it up to my sister, and she's just like, I don't know. I think he's in a cult. This is where I've come to is he is in
yeah,
a cult, and it's the Trump cult. And this is how I've come to that conclusion
yeah. No,
is
and that's where
if you don't believe the scientists or the career statisticians or anything
mm,
like that, you don't believe the facts, you don't
the,
believe the media, you don't believe the FBI, the CIA, the government officials, you don't believe anybody besides Fox News, Donald Trump, and his sycophants.
yep.
That's a cult, right? That's like the definition of being in a cult.
Just today driving home, I heard on the radio that they did new polling. This I guess it's the worst Trump's polling's been this second term, but they said that it was like 54% of Americans disagree with the way that Trump is going about the whole tariff thing, and 42% agree with. And my wife was like, "Who are the 42% that agree?" And what's fun, I had to explain to her, like, he's only got about four more points to go down. Once he hits about 37, 38%, like, that's his bottom. It'll never go below that because there's 38% of America that no matter what happens are with Trump to the end. And you just gotta be ready for that. So they're
I
saying
mean,
how much lower will his numbers go? Only about four more points. That's where they stop. They won't go below that.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I wonder what that number is around the world. Like,
For Trump,
yeah,
oh, I mean his disapproval rating is enormous in most countries.
that's what I
I
would
want to say
think,
every
right?
country. Yeah.
But he still has like popularity in some countries.
I'm going to say yes, but I can't think of one off the top of my head right now.
And he still has followers in every country. Like there's somebody
There,
in
yeah,
every
there's definitely yes, but
yeah, like the right wing whatever that Elon Musk was trying to
the ADF
do
in Germany, yeah,
in Germany. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, they
Like I
probably,
guarantee that
yeah,
they're all Trump supporters, right?
yep. So
Okay.
anyhow, like I said, the ones in Northwest Arkansas this weekend weren't saying a whole lot. You know what I did get to do in Northwest Arkansas? This is a big moment for me. For the last 2 years of my life, I'm sure you find yourself scrolling Facebook or Instagram reels occasionally, right?
Yeah.
My algorithm has decided to show me Chicago style pizza, like the for real kind, where like the cheese is on the bottom and the sauce is on the top, and it's like a pie. And I've
Uh-huh.
I've never had a Chicago style pizza in my life, and
Oh.
today, for the first time in my life, I had Chicago style pizza in just outside of Rogers, Arkansas, and I gotta say it was delicious.
What was the
So
place called?
Gustanos or something like that.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Good stuff.
Um,
Yeah.
Next, have you ever had Detroit style pizza?
I don't know. You know what? Not good. Not real.
Okay.
There's a gas station up here that serves Detroit style
Oh,
pizza, and I did try it. It
okay.
was pretty good, but it was gas station pizza.
There's a chain, it's called Blue something. There's one in Denver. I tried it. It was really good.
Okay, I'll have to give it a shot.
That's one Tulsa.
Anyhow, I hate to jump right into a video, but I'm going to make us do it. Check this
Video.
out real quick. This is from CNBC over the weekend.
The United States post World War II was a global stabilizer. We are the global destabilizer.
Right, right.
Now,
And
Larry,
that's a very hard thing to say because I pride ourselves of being, bringing the leadership, bringing the conversations. Celebrate. Yes, I do believe we're probably starting, if not, we're in a recession. Yes, I think the market is still underestimating how high inflation can get. If you factor in all the tariffs,
right?
you factor in all these other issues, it's going to be quite additive. I mean, I read in a report that if you just take the tariffs in the cost of home building, the average new home could be up as much as 26%. We already have a housing affordability problem.
None of this sounds any good to me, Larry. I mean, and it's all self-inflicted, by the way. None of it needed to happen.
This is not a pandemic. This is not a financial crisis. This is something that we've created. But in the short run, I'm petrified at some of these issues.
Petrified.
Well, let's speak of being petrified.
So,
Oh my God.
okay, so let's get one thing out of the way real quick. That guy's name is Larry Fink, and he is the CEO of BlackRock. There are a lot of people in America that you say the word BlackRock, and they hate it. And there's also a movement right now that this is how Republicans, Fox News included, are trying to spin it. Is they're like, you know what? Wall Street had its time to shine. Now it's Main Street's turn.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain this, but like if Wall Street suffers, we are going to suffer. Like it's not a either or. It's like, oh, let's punish Wall Street so Main Street. No. Wall Street, if it starts to suffer, major corporations are going to start laying off employees. Those employees are going to flood the workforce trying to find new jobs. Like it's going to have a trickle down effect really quick. Okay. So we can say without a doubt that Wall Street screws us over and this and that. Like, yes, that's true. But if Wall Street tanks, it will hit us. And right now there's this weird thing happening on the right where they think, yeah, let's tank Wall Street. It'll be better for us. There's no way that can possibly happen. And it's one of those where it's like I don't want to waste my breath saying that, but I feel like it needs to be said. Now to get to
no, that's absolutely correct, right? Like wasting your breath, like
but
reiterate that 100 times to everybody over and over again, because I mean,
well, you call your dad and try to explain that to him and let me know how it goes.
Well, he knows. I think he knows that.
Let's hope so.
I think he knows that. He just doesn't. Yeah. Okay. But you know what? Small businesses actually support big businesses. Like big businesses they get their employees from small businesses. They get like their trained employees from small businesses. They get like their ideas from small businesses. They buy small businesses and incorporate them into their larger businesses. Like all the innovation actually comes from the smaller businesses.
I tried to find a clip of it, but I saw, and I've never watched CNBC in my life. But CNBC is the business NBC channel, like the stock market channel for them, and it's a highly like all their shows have a Republican leaning. Like it is a right slanted, and they normally back Trump, and none of them are liking this right now. But I've been watching them a lot, and I couldn't find a clip to get on the show. But they said, and it was something like for every one big business that fails, 4 big businesses downstream fail because that one failed. Or so it was something along those lines. And they didn't really explain the trickle down.
One big business that fails, 4 small businesses fail?
Yeah, 4 like small, mom and pop shops because they are reliant on that big business for one thing or another. So hoping for the big corporations to fail will have a downstream effect. Now, the reason I picked that clip, though, it's been said by a lot of people that are in the know with the Trump administration. He listens to 2 people when it comes to the economy. Jamie Dimon is one of them. Jamie Dimon is the CEO of JP Morgan Chase. And he's the one that the day that the bond market started to fail, he came out, I think on CNBC or Fox, and basically was sounding the alarm bells, saying like we're headed for a recession. This is terrible. And Trump, that was when he did it that Wednesday morning, and then Trump brought the tariffs down to 9% after whatever 13 hours that he had it on. But then everybody said it was because, and he even admitted, he said, yeah, I saw it was on, now I'm remembering, it was on Maria Bartiromo's show on Fox Business on Wednesday morning. And he even said when he came out, he's like, yeah, I saw Jamie Dimon, blah, blah, blah. So Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink are 2 people that supposedly Trump listens to and actually trusts. Larry Fink, that video came out over the weekend. So everybody said, okay, good. Larry Fink came out, kind of spreading the recession word around. Trump's going to correct his course here. That's kind of what was thought. I'm just going to
How does he correct at this point?
I'm just going to tell you, it's not working out for him. A quick recap. This is all since Wednesday. How many days ago is Wednesday? This is Sunday night. So in the last 5 days, let's run through this real quick. Reciprocal tariffs announced, and I'm going to say reciprocal because they were those massive, 84%, 67% tariffs that he put on, but he claimed the math checked out. So reciprocal tariffs on Wednesday. 13 hours later, he drops all of them except for China down to 10%, okay? Then he goes Chinese to 50%. The next day, he goes Chinese to 90%. and then the same day later on to 104%, and then 125% the next day, and then 145 the next day. So we went from 50 to 145% in that short amount of time. On Friday, he said that electronics are going to be exempted because, again, the bond yields were getting high. So he said computers, laptops, hard drives, electronics in general, which that's most, everybody was kind of laughing because they were like, hold on, if you're exempting electronics, that's most of it. Like, so
Everything.
are you caving at this point? And
Yeah.
then a lot of right wing media was trying to say, like, oh, well, this is an olive branch. He's offering China a path to de escalate. That's what he's doing here. So he's to
Who said that?
sidetrack.
Fox News?
Yeah. So all the Fox, all the Trump echo chamber.
Yeah.
But I think that it was Friday. They did this, and they also said that, and Trump came out on Wednesday and he said China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how to. Like, President Xi is a very proud man, but he wants to make a deal, and like basically the phones are open. And then all the reporting was that Trump wants to talk to Xi, but he's not going to be the first one to call because the first one to call is the one who automatically doesn't have the leverage. You seem like the needy one. So Xi and Trump did a stare down until Friday. Friday morning, Trump does the electronics exemption, which this is interesting to note for later. But the White House specifically called it an exemption, and then later issued a on the website official, and it was entitled "The Clarification for the Exemptions." Remember that for in a minute. Anyhow, later that day, Xi raised our tariffs, and I can't remember what they are now, but he raised them slightly. And then today, this is key. China issued an embargo on rare earth and critical minerals, excuse me, going to the U.S. We're going to
Saw
talk.
that.
We're going to talk in a minute about everything that includes. So that's a major.
Yeah.
That wrecks so many industries we have. We get all of those from them, and
Yeah.
they just said, "Sorry, we're not going to give those to America anymore." So that is
Yeah.
a
I didn't know this, but magnets are a big part of everything. And
magnets
we
are a
get
huge part of everything
and
apparently,
we
and
get our
that's
magnets, all of our magnets from China.
yes, and that's not something you can quickly onshore. We can't suddenly start coming up with rare earth minerals and magnets here in America. Like that would take years to develop. I don't even know if we have it in our ground, but even if it was in our ground, like we can't just suddenly start digging and using that stuff. Like it's a
Is there a
process.
magnet ETF?
I don't know. Um, but China did that, and that was a panic moment. Lutnick comes out this morning. Lutnick's the guy you hate for the record, but Lutnick comes out this morning on ABC. Give this a quick watch, real quick.
So what he's doing is he's saying they're exempt from the reciprocal tariffs, but they're included in the semiconductor tariffs, which are coming in probably a month or two. So these are coming soon. You shouldn't think this is really outside of it. Really think of it as being included in the semiconductor space, much like pharmaceuticals. These require special attention, and the president is on it.
So you're saying that the big tariffs on things like smartphones and laptops, iPhones, all those iPhones built in China, that those tariffs are temporarily off, but they're going to be coming right back on in another form in a month or so? Or what are you saying?
Correct. That's right. That's right.
I don't get these people.
So basically, Trump took the tariffs on smartphones, computers, hard drives, all that down to 10% as an olive branch to try to de-escalate. China responded by escalating like quite a bit with the embargo on the rare earth minerals and critical minerals. So now this morning, Lutnick comes out and says, no. We didn't give them an exemption. And like they went on, that clip went on for a while. They argued about it, but he's like, no, I don't know where you got the word exemption. Like we temporarily took them off of this and we're going to put them in another tariff bucket was how he described it. And they went back and forth and it was like, but you said they were exempted. He's like, no, we never said they were exempt. Like nobody's getting off easy here. That's one of the key things he said. Trump comes out right afterward. Long tweet, but the gist of it, he said, there was not a tariff exemption announced on Friday. The fake news knows this, but refuses to report it. Again, the document the White House issued, because Trump announced it via tweet, and then there was some confusion. So then the White House issued an official document titled Clarification of Exemptions under Executive Order 14257. So the White House called it exemptions, Trump called it exemptions, and now they're arguing and say, no, we never said this was exemptions. We didn't want to have them involved in these tariffs. We're putting them in their own special tariff bucket. So those are coming soon. And
They
he went
don't
back
know what they're doing.
At
They have
one
no
point,
clue what they're doing.
they don't, and they're flying by the seat of their pants. At one point,
Does anybody is anybody in their administration actually a good negotiator? Because Trump's not. There's
so
no. I've never seen any good negotiating come out of Trump.
all the Wall Street guys think that Bissett, who is the Secretary of the Treasury, I think is his title, Bissett,
Okay.
they like him, and they supposedly, this is all being reported, but who knows? They think that Bissett is on one side of Trump, and then Letnick and Navarro are on the other, and those two want tariffs. They want a tariff war. Bissett's like a hedge fund guy. Like he knows what the market needs, and it's a struggle right now of who's winning dominance of Trump's ear at the moment. Basically, all the Jamie Dimons and Larry Finks and all the Wall Street guys are begging Trump to please start listening to Bissett. Like Bissett knows what to do here. By all accounts, he would if Trump just handed him the reins and said, "Here, do whatever needs to be done." Wall Street would be very happy. Like it seems like the stock market would go up, things would be good. However, right now, Navarro and Letnick are winning the battle over this. And Trump has liked tariffs for 30 years. He has talked about tariffs. You can find clips of him in the 80s and 90s talking about tariffs. Like so they started with an advantage. They're already kind of working with what he likes. So
Hmm.
anywho, so the whole smartphones, laptops, hard drives, stuff for semiconductors, they raised that back up. Which part of that doesn't matter because apparently China's going to stop sending us certain stuff like that. So, which
Yeah.
Trump loves to use the phrase. He used it with Zelensky. You're not holding all the cards. Like I think that the key problem here is that Trump truly believed that we were holding all the cards. Like, I felt like all last week I heard on every right wing media I watched, they said, we will definitely win a trade war with China. Like, they need us more than we need them. Like, that they were confident in that. And now I think we're learning real quick that, like, China might have, not only does China have the cards, but guess where the cards were made? In
There.
China. Yeah, they're made in China.
Dude,
It's
this is
their cards.
crazy. No, this is insane because he just like we and maybe this is just like every country kind of has their own internal like pride and like, oh, America's always we're the greatest country in the world. We're America. China's probably doing the same thing. We're China. We're the greatest country in the world. And Italy and Germany and they're all everybody thinks they're the greatest country in the world, right?
The benefit that China has here, and this sucks for China for Chinese people, but they have state-run media. Like they control the news and information, so they can sculpt everything that their people are hearing to
Right.
benefit them to make America seem like the bad guy. China is playing it cool. President Xi is doing great, whereas we have the benefit, which is a good thing though, of hearing all the news from all around the world and hearing people on our news stations that'll say, "Hey, I think Trump's doing this totally wrong." The Chinese
Oh,
people never see anybody on their news station disagreeing with the president ever.
yeah. So okay, so if we before this all happened, like if we went around the world and we talked to a bunch of people from a bunch of different countries, who's the greatest superpower in the world?
I don't think
Were they
right now nobody's saying America.
it's
Three,
China, right?
yeah, yeah, 2 or 3 years.
China just took the lead in that.
I think they officially have, but I don't know if most of the world would realize that at the moment. But I
Yeah.
honestly, I think 2 years ago, everybody would have said America, and I think that like even if we get a decent Republican in like 5 years, people might say America again. But right now, real quick, going back to all the stuff with USAID being demolished, every time we did anything where we pulled back, what did I say? Who's stepping in to fill the
China's
void?
coming in there and
Yeah,
getting it. And
they right now they're making deals with Africa. Real quick, they pulled off trade deals in the last week with Canada, the European Union, Cambodia. They're working on one with Vietnam, Japan, and Korea right now. So like while Trump's talking about all these countries that are calling and wanting to make a deal, China's actually making the deals. Like they've
yeah,
solidified trade deals in the last week with a lot of the people we need on our side. And that's the other thing is the right wing media is saying like, oh, China or the European Union is definitely going to side with us. No, I mean they've already maybe they're going to like split the difference and side with both, but they've already signed a trade deal with China. Like they're allowing the Chinese cars, the BYD, those new electric cars. China's has, I guess, they're opening manufacturing plants in Europe to manufacture those there, which is going to drown Tesla out. Like that's part of real quick the rare earth and critical minerals. There's a list of all the things that those will impact, but aerospace is one of them. And I got to think that that's targeted at Elon. I just have a feeling.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but we're talking about Chinese state media. They are very, very weird about what clips they let from American media like get around, go viral over there. And like, if they let a clip go viral, it's because it makes us look stupid and helps them in some way. There is one clip that has gone massively viral in the last 3 days in China. It's everywhere, and it's pissing off China. It's the citizens hate us right now.
Oh.
Check this gem out real quick.
We borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture.
So,
oh, what a tool bag.
I don't think JD realized what he was saying or how that would play in China. But right now, for Trump and Xi, it's a matter of keeping your country on your side. Are they willing to endure the pain of this trade war? And which country's citizens can endure the pain the longest is how a trade war is going to get won. And
Yep.
right there, that clip is everywhere on, I guess I can't remember the name of it, but there's some certain social media that the people in China have that the government totally has censorship over, but they're letting that spread like wildfire over there. So yeah, JD, keep calling them peasants. This is going to work out fine for us. Um, not not the right way to negotiate a trade war is all I'm going to say. And when you look at how we're treating the rest of the world too, like there's a weird thing happening right now where you would think that Trump would be trying, like, I guess you would think a normal leader would be trying to approach this from a place of like the carrot, not the stick, basically, trying to be
Uh-huh.
friendly with everybody. Um, they're not. Here's one more video for you on this topic.
Why would any of our allies work with us to isolate China in a trade war if we're treating friend and foe alike?
You'll have to talk to our allies who are reaching out to us. The phones are ringing off of the hooks. They've made it very clear they need the United States of America. They need our markets. They need our consumer base. You saw Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Oval Office with the president saying that he was going to bring down all of their monetary tariffs and their non-monetary tariff trade barriers as well. We've heard from South Korea. We've heard from Japan. The president has spoken to Vietnam. We have Italy coming to the White House next week. There's a reason for that, Sean, and it's because they need the United States of America and our business model and our markets to survive, and the president is using that leverage to our advantage. Michael.
So we have.
Honestly, I don't know who I hate more, Lednick or her.
So that right there, and it's just not the right approach. I don't know how else to say it, but right now, China's trying to tell them, hey, you guys don't need America to survive. You got us. Come with us. You don't need America. And then we're saying that, hey, they need us. They need us more. She didn't say this directly, but they need us more than we need them. Then she said flat out, like, they need us to survive. So if you're those countries, I would think that would make me more inclined to go see what China has to offer. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the whole thing here is leverage. Fox and all right-wing media is trying to say, oh, this was the art of the deal. He put the massive tariffs on and then he knocked it back down to 10%. And now he has all the leverage with all the other countries. He's going to be able to solidify every country in the world with us against China. And that's what they're selling right now. That's all weekend long. Okay. I don't see it that way. I'm watching actual deals get signed by China and with Canada, the EU, Cambodia. Like I said, if he knocks out the one with Korea, Japan, and Vietnam, like that's disastrous for us right now.
Here's the thing, is a lot of people voted for Trump because they think he's a good businessman, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at his record as a businessman, he's horrible. He doesn't really have any successful businesses.
He has one.
The branding.
Well, kind of The Apprentice.
But that's not his business.
But that was the most successful thing he ever did. Like without The Apprentice, Trump as a businessman would be kind of thought of as a joke. Like if you just look at his life all the way up to 2006, I think is when The Apprentice started. Like it was 6 bankruptcies. He bankrupted a casino. Like in New York, like Trump was kind of a punchline. Like he wasn't known as a good businessman. He was that obnoxious guy that was always on the radio and whatnot. And then he did the Apprentice, and The Apprentice kind of introduced him to Middle America, the flyover states, and a lot of those people were very impressed. My dad loved The Apprentice. He thought Trump was the greatest businessman ever, and it's because he didn't grow up hearing all the stories about Trump in New York. He watched The Apprentice, and he was like, "Oh, look, this guy's great." So.
But yeah, just like you said, six bankruptcies. How many businesses failed that he just didn't claim bankruptcy on? Like
So that's the thing. like there was Trump vodka, Trump steaks, Trump air. Like I don't know which of those went bankrupt and which ones just kind of went away. Like that's
Well, the dude bankrupt two casinos.
was it two or just one? I thought it was just one.
He wanted to build two casinos, one right across the street from another.
Okay, the
Because
first one bankrupt before he could build the second one. Is that what happened?
I think so. I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. So I think they're under the same umbrella, but he
yeah.
bankrupt that company with two casinos. And his idea was he wanted people to drive down the street and see Trump, Trump.
It's marketing right there. Maybe that's good marketing. I've never taken a marketing class, so
Well,
but
how
real
do you
quick,
bankrupt a casino? It's like printing money. This is the new.
it is hard to bankrupt a casino. But I don't know anything about this, but from what I understand, like Atlantic City kind of failed along with his casino. So maybe it was location. I don't know. I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe Atlantic City kind of went under at the same time that several casinos went under, and his was one of them. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just that makes sense to me.
Do you know when he got into real estate?
I'm gonna guess in like it was like in the 70s with his dad, right? 'Cause his dad was in real
Okay, so
estate.
okay, maybe not real estate. So he got into, I think, housing real estate.
Okay.
Like he got into that right at in 2008, I believe.
So when
So
during the Great Recession?
right before the Great Recession.
Oh,
So
okay.
2006, right before the Great Recession.
Okay.
He saw people making money in the housing industry and
Yeah.
like jumped in
That's when the
and
bubble was rising and then it burst. And you know,
yeah.
I'm going to even side with him a little bit there because there appeared to be a lot of people on Wall Street that did not see the flashing yellow lights of there being a problem. Like
Of the housing industry.
yeah, very very few people saw it. There's that movie The Big Short about it that I don't fully
Okay.
understand. But like a lot of people just had blinders and were seeing dollar signs and they were trying to push it as fast and as hard as they could, and then the
Yeah.
bubble burst. So, but
I mean, I think before this, I think the next thing was going to be AI. I think that was going to be the next bubble that burst.
that's what they were saying happened a couple weeks ago potentially. But I don't know. We're real quick. The just to tie a button on this whole do we have leverage or not? Last video on this topic.
Wait, do we have the leverage that we're talking about? I mean, is that?
Well, so the point is, like, all of these countries saw what happened, and that he is the one who now desperately needs to strike dozens of deals with dozens of countries in 90 days to justify what he did to the American economy. If I'm the European Union and they see this, I would drive a very, very hard bargain right now. So these are not going to be great deals for the United States if they happen at all.
All right.
So that to me, that's right on the money. Suddenly, and still, if you talk to Republicans or listen to right wing media, you'll hear that Trump has all the leverage right now. I just don't see it that way. Like he's in a bind now where he's saying all these countries are calling, they all want to make a deal, and the one way he can save the stock market and save the bond yields and the dollar, which has dropped below $1 right now, like the way he can do that is to start cranking out some deals, get some confidence back. This is all driven by consumer confidence, which is like at the lowest point it's been since 2008 or something like that. So if he can start knocking out deals, it will turn around. Like 100%. I'll say this, even if they're bad deals, even if they're deals that aren't really that great, just showing that he's getting something done will get some confidence back. The problem is, if you're one of these other countries, you see that, you know that. So what is your incentive to bend over backward for Trump and let him?
Nothing.
Yeah. So I
All
think
the other countries have already come together and they're like, hey, let's just work around the United States. We don't really need them. We can do this without them.
you know what's going to make me the most mad of this whole tariff thing? The part where I'm literally going to get pissed is he's going to start cranking out trade deals that aren't any good at all. Like it's not, we didn't win the trade deal, but he and his echo, or what do they call it? Media echo chamber. They're going to say, these are great trade deals for us, and half the country's going to buy it, and it's gonna, like it's right here on paper. You can see that we didn't get anything near what he said he wanted to get, but that's not going to matter. They're going to say, "Yep, look how much better we are with the EU now because Trump has this trade deal, which is going to be either the same as it was before, or maybe he might tweak one little thing. It won't be anything that great. That's going to drive me insane, and you know that that's going to happen, right?"
Yeah, I know that's gonna happen. And the thing is like for a little while there, I was like really convinced that he had this grand plan that he was gonna crash the economy and all the big business were gonna be able to come in and swoop up swoop everything up and then build the economy back up to where it was, right?
Mhm.
And the businesses were gonna be able to take what they wanted, a little bit of a little sugar on top for giving Trump all the donations. I thought he had a plan, but the more I look at this, the more I realize he's just an idiot. He has no plan.
So
He's just swinging in the wind. He's living on instinct, is what he said the other day, right?
he, instinctively, yeah. Here's the thing.
Instinctively.
I think they did had a plan, but I think it was just severely misguided. I think that they thought for real that if they hit all these other countries with tariffs, that these countries would come begging because in his I think he truly believes they need America to survive. They can't allow America to isolate them from our trade. So I think they truly thought that. They miscalculated because I think all these countries are looking around and going, "Hey, even though our best bet right now is with America, like it's so unstable. We don't know what Trump's going to do next. He's talking about taking over Greenland. He's talking about taking over Canada. Like, would we be better off just going with China? It's going to be a slightly worse deal, but at least it's stability. Like, I think that's what the other countries are looking at right now, and I don't think that ever entered Lutnick or Navarro's mind. I think they thought for sure 100% certainty these countries will come begging and they'll accept whatever deal we're putting on the table because they need us. That was their thought. I
What do
think
we
they
really
were.
offer? What do we really offer?
He's saying he wants reparations. He wants them to pay us annual payments just for allowing us to trade with them, or for the past, for them ripping us off for so many years.
Right.
So he's not going to. If he gets any of that, I'll be shocked. With Israel, he'll get that because he mentioned in that video, Netanyahu, like, oh, you saw Netanyahu he was in the White House last week. Yeah, Netanyahu needs us and our money to keep killing all the people in Palestine and Gaza. But other than that, I don't see any of these trade deals working out real well for us. It's kind of where it's at.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
So what are the other countries? What do we trade? What do we sell them that they need?
not a lot. I don't know like that when Canada did the reciprocal tariffs back on us, they tried to do targeted industries, and it was weird stuff. It was stuff that like I was like, oh, that like, oh God,
Booze. A lot of booze.
it was booze for sure, but yeah, we're not a manufacturing economy. We're what do they call it? We're a service economy. So
Hmm.
all right, so we talked about the suspension of the exports of critical minerals, magnets. Um, Real quick, I think I mentioned this before, but it's going to affect automakers, aerospace manufacturers, semiconductor companies, military contractors, which we'll go into that in a second. Everything from cars to drones to robots to missiles. Um,
This
you think?
seems like if China wanted to wage a war on us, they just cut off our magnets for
Yeah,
a while. And I was thinking about this a minute ago. I forgot to bring this up. But if they cut off if they stop shipping computer parts over here and we don't have computers for 4 years, our country will just be stifled from knowledge
yeah.
stifled.
Like I said, we can't just build those real quick and start making computers. And that was one of the things people pointed out on Friday is the way that they did the exceptions for it was laptops, smartphones, and hard drives, and a couple other things. But they didn't exempt the other components for a computer. So if you're a company that buys all the components from overseas, but then builds the computer here in America, you could actually, an American citizen could get it from China cheaper than the person could build it and sell it for here because there were still the tariffs on certain items inside the computer. So that was one of the things they were kind of getting knocked on. But
Okay.
China specifically said that they are no for I can't remember for how long they said, but while they're figuring out their new policy on this, they are not going to do any business with American military. I can't remember what they call it, but basically the people that make our weapons, the industrial
Yeah.
military complex. Like they're stopping
Yeah.
any deals with them for now. So that's huge. Like right there, Xi, like that's one of those. Like that's the Trump card. I thought he would have saved that for a couple steps later, but he went straight to that. Like, no, we're just going to stop giving you the critical minerals and rare earth materials. Like done. So
Yeah.
we can get some of that from other countries, not at all like China has that market. Like they are producing the most and at the best price. So we're gonna be able to get it. We're not gonna be able to get as big a quantity and we're gonna pay more for it, but we can get it from other places. But that right there, that that
Well, isn't
happened.
this part of the reason why I went to war with Afghanistan and Iraq?
No, so that was for the oil, which is a rare earth mineral. So yeah, I mean,
Exactly. That's what I'm
yeah.
saying. It's like this is gonna make our warmongers want to go to war with another country who has rare earth minerals, like Africa maybe, going like
Right now, and China is so badly going to beat us on Africa that I don't want to get into that right now. But like that was kind of us, Russia, and China were all trying to get a foothold in Africa. And Russia, they were using the Wagner group, their group of mercenaries, to go in and anyhow, they weren't having great success. But every country we stepped out of in Africa, China is already making deals with. They're sliding in. So like Africa is the next hotbed of like rare earth materials. They're gonna mine the crap out of Africa. It's not gonna be pretty, but they're gonna
yeah.
do it. And China's gonna control that game. So way to go, Elon and Doge for cutting USAID. That just cost us the future of rare earth minerals. But whatever. We're gonna get Greenland, which apparently has a lot of that. So.
We're not
Yeah.
gonna get Greenland. I don't think that's gonna happen. I feel like if we try and take Greenland, like the we're gonna go to war with the EU.
So I would have said no a while ago, but depending on how long, like I don't know how long this stuff with China will go on, but if they cut off our ability to make new missiles and military equipment, suddenly other countries, and I think we're way far away from this. But if this goes on for a while and we can't get our war machine up and running, then yeah, that suddenly the EU versus America seems like a little bit more of a fair fight. Right now, it's still not there. I'm just saying that's what the future holds if we stay on this
Right.
path. So,
Right, but
anywho,
I think they'd fight it anyway. I think they would defend Greenland.
I don't know. That is a NATO country, so you'd have one NATO country basically invading and annexing another NATO country. Like theoretically, NATO has to go to
Kind of
war
have
at
to,
that
right?
point. But then do they? Like there's only one time in the history of NATO that Article 5 has been invoked, and that was when we went to war after 9/11, and every country in NATO came along for the ride. A lot of them didn't send a lot of troops, but like
Yeah.
in Afghanistan and Iraq, there were all kind. We had Canadian troops, British troops, French troops. Like
Uh-huh.
they were all there as part of Article
Yeah.
5. Like if Greenland tries to call Article 5, a lot of European countries have a decision to make. And I think right now, like today, they would say, no, we're not going to war with America. That's suicide. Again, in 2 years of us not being able to produce stuff, that calculation changes. And
Hmm.
I don't think this thing with China will go on for 2 years because I think Trump's already buckling and I think it's going to happen pretty quick here. But I'm just saying, if we were to try to take this to the mat with China, it leaves us so vulnerable in so many ways. That's why I don't think there's any way it'll happen. There's going to be a trade deal with China quickly, and it's not going to be very good for America. I think it'll probably be a return to exactly how it was 2 months ago.
Yeah. Remember when Trump used to say, "You're gonna be so tired of winning. We're gonna win so much. You're gonna be so tired of winning." Like we're
He's
just losing on all fronts.
he's winning on other fronts though. Trump's
What is he winning?
losing. He's losing right now on the tariffs and the economy. And even there, me and you say he's losing. 42% of the country says no. And I talked to a good friend of ours, our good lifelong Republican friend that actually stays up with the news. I think I told you the other day I talked to him, and we talked briefly about tariffs, and he was like, "Oh, this had to be done. I mean, what he's doing is going to save America." And he thought exactly the opposite of what I think, and he was very what's the word? He was very sure of it. Like he was confident in what he was telling me, and
Where is he getting? Is he getting it from Fox News? Is this where?
I don't know. I don't know where he's getting his news these days, but he even told me that China can't hang in this as long as we can. Like we have the fortitude to do it, and China doesn't. I see it totally opposite. And I think that we, America, especially our citizens, don't have the fortitude to go into a prolonged trade war with China.
No.
We see it differently. He definitely thinks that we have the upper hand here. I'm very worried we do not have the upper hand here. But
Okay, so then here's the thing: is I've been kind of preaching this is like I listen to the people who listen to the economists on this issue.
okay, you listen to the experts, and I'm just telling you that like more than half of America right now doesn't trust the experts.
Yeah, this is my whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you don't trust the experts and you only trust what's coming out of Trump and Fox News, you're in a cult.
yeah.
This is a cult. Like, okay,
I could steel man that
okay,
argument and really go after you and be like, oh, the
let's
experts,
let's
and
hear it.
like, and I don't have it in me, and I don't believe it, so it wouldn't be good. But like, I've heard people give good arguments for like, oh, the experts, and then you can point out, and you can just poke holes in it. You can point out little things the experts have been wrong about over the past however many years on the economy, on COVID, on whatever. You can start poking holes, and you can give someone reasonable doubt. Like, you know what? They were wrong about those two things. What else are they wrong about? I'm just telling you, it's an argument that
Everybody's wrong in their field from time to time.
What I'm telling you is the way that you confidently say, I trust the experts, and anybody, you didn't say this, but I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
I trust the experts because they're the experts. And if you don't trust the experts, then you're wrong. That's kind of your gist. And I'm just telling you that there's a lot of people out there that think you are 100% sheep. You are listening to what the government and the scientists are telling you, and you should start doing your own research, okay?
That's where the own research comes in.
I'm telling you, because
I'm going to create a lab here and start doing my own research.
What's funny is doing your own research means don't Google it or look online. Look on Twitter. That's where the real answers are. Like that's kind of what they mean there. So anyhow, let's talk about some areas where Trump is winning real quick.
Okay.
First of all, immigration.
Information.
Immigration.
Information.
Yeah. Well, no, he's actually winning in the courts on a couple items. Okay. Real quick. We're going to say this immigration. The reason there hasn't been a comprehensive immigration/border deal for the past, they've been trying since the 90s, and it just can't get done. One of the major sticking points, not the only one, but one of the major sticking points has been what do you do with the people that are already here that are living good lives? They're helping the economy. They're working in the meat processing plants.
They're having kids in America.
And they're not breaking laws. What do you do with them? And the Democrats say, hey, they are valuable to our economy. If we got rid of all them, it would cost more to build a house. Fruit would go bad on the vine. There's nobody to work in the meat processing plants. Like we need them or our economy is going to fail. We should give them amnesty, basically grant them citizenship. They're already here. Republicans, that is a deal breaker right there. Like if the word amnesty comes up, nope, that's not happening. And there's been a couple of Republican presidential candidates that have said that part of their plan is to give amnesty to the ones that are here working hard, living good lives, and they get run right out of the primaries. Like the word amnesty is poison, okay? So, and we've talked about it. You do like our economy needs those people. Like if you get rid of them, the price to build a house goes through the roof. The fruit goes bad.
Well, they're talking about right now, like fruit is rotting on the vine right now. Like, and you're saying he's winning on this?
So, real quick, I got a clip.
I feel like you lost.
I got a clip for you from Fox.
We're also going to work with farmers that if they have strong recommendations for their farms for certain people, we're going to let them stay in for a while and work with the farmers and then come back and go through a process, a legal process. But we have to take care of our farmers and hotels and various places where where they need the people.
Yeah. This is what I was thinking when you said winning. I was like, he's not winning on this issue.
You know why he's going to win on this? Because he said that the other day, and then immediately all the channels and all the media that has been telling you amnesty is a bad idea, immediately we're like, oh, brilliant. Trump's right. We need these people in these certain jobs in these certain industries, blah, 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 blah. So he's going to win on this, and they're going to say he's brilliant for doing this, where the Democrats have been preaching this for I don't know how long. Republicans have been the ones saying no. He's going to get a W on this, okay? Minor deal. Okay. Minor deal. It's good for the economy. I mean, we need those people. And he's going to, I guarantee you, this is going to get expanded to include the home building industry. All the people that the Democrats for 20 years have been trying to say should get it are going to get it. But it's finally going to happen without any Democrat votes. It's going to be Trump that signs it. And people on the left and the right, or maybe not the left, but people on the right are going to say, brilliant, the art of the deal. He's a smart businessman. He knows, and that's a win for Trump, even though that's been a Democrat issue that Republicans have been blocking forever. Chalk one up for Trump. Next major issue. You know, the Maine, he was a father in Maine. He had, I guess, a 5-year-old autistic kid. He was on the do not deport list. He was here legally. He was on paper. There was a court order not to deport him back to El Salvador. Trump did. Last week, a judge said, you need to get him back here by midnight tomorrow or whatever it was. The Supreme Court stepped in, Supreme Court initially stepped in and said, they put a stay on that order, basically saying he doesn't have to be back by midnight tonight. We need time to look at this. And Trump took a victory lap on that. They were saying, oh, the Supreme Court, they got rid of the 12 p.m. deadline. They agree with us. Well, they did look at the facts, and they came back, I think, a day, maybe 2 days later, and 9-0. The Supreme Court never goes 9-0 on anything. Even justice like Alito, I can't remember the other guy's name. I'm blanking on the other guy. Clarence Thomas. There we go. Clarence Thomas and Alito, like the most conservative, they agreed, no, you got to bring this guy back. This guy was under legal protection. So 9-0, Trump loses in defeat. The order says that the U.S. must facilitate the return of, his name is Kilmar Armando Abrego. They must, and this is key. The wording is they must facilitate the return. I don't look at the dictionary, but when I hear that, I'm like, okay, so they need to work out the details and get him back here. That's kind of what I heard.
Yeah.
The White House came out just the other day, and I don't have the exact language, but they basically were parsing the word facilitate. They said, hey, okay, the ruling specifically said facilitate, and the definition of facilitate, and then they had the definition in there, and they said, so what we're doing on our end is we're making it to where it's not illegal for him to come back to this country. He won't get deported again if he comes back. But that's not really all we can do. That's our end. He's in El Salvador, and he's under the care of the El Salvador government. So we've done everything we can to facilitate it, and now it's up to El Salvador. And I honestly think he's going to get a W here. I think even though the Supreme Court said bring him back, now there's that famous quote, the Supreme Court has made, or the Chief Justice has made his ruling. Now let's see him enforce it. If Trump just tells them to pound sand, they could choose to try to go to war. The Supreme Court, who's 6-3 Republican majority, could choose to try to go to war with Trump on this. They're going to lose. I mean, they have no army, no police force, no real way of getting anything done. If they want somebody arrested, they have to go to the DOJ, who is ran by Trump and Pam Bondi.
I mean, this is him making enemies with his allies again.
I'm just telling you, it's a W for him. When the ruling came out,
it's a little bit of a W for now, but he's making enemies with the Supreme Court.
You think they're going to cross him? I mean, I know they did in this one, but this one was black and white. There's no way, 9-0. There's no way to get around this. There was a judge ruled that he cannot be deported, and then you deported him. And then this is the key part. In court, the Trump administration, the lawyer arguing on behalf of the DOJ, admitted in a filing that, hey, this was an oversight. We didn't realize he wasn't supposed to be deported. This was our mistake. He said all that in a ruling. They fired that lawyer for admitting that this was wrong and it shouldn't have happened. So that guy got fired. We got new lawyers on the case.
Did you see that more law firms are like giving Trump free? 2 more of them, yeah. Yep. So this is scary.
I think it's 6 of them now.
This is very weird, and
it should be alarm bells for everybody, but it somehow isn't. But I'll tell you right now, Kilmar Armando Abrego ain't coming back to the U.S. If he's still alive in 4 years, then the next president might bring him back. But somebody brought this up the other day. If he comes back, let's say that El Salvador releases him and he comes back to America, what's going to be the first thing he's doing?
I don't know.
He's going to be on TV. He's going to be on 60 Minutes. He's going to be on every channel. He's going to talk about the conditions in that prison. He's going to talk about the torture.
Is that the prison that's like known for torture?
Yes, that's where he is. So if he comes back, he's going to get on TV and he's going to tell what it's like in that. And that's going to turn American sentiment against this whole deport them to El Salvador thing. Not for everybody, but enough people are going to hear that. So Trump and the president of El Salvador cannot let him come back. That would be disastrous if he comes back and goes on 60 Minutes. So I'm telling you right now, he ain't coming back. They will take this all the way to the end. The worst thing that can happen is one of these guys gets to talk to the media and says what the conditions are like in that prison.
Isn't it illegal to ship our prisoners to another country?
He's deporting people, and he's using the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. So he's using a constitutional thing that has only been used in times of war. But again,
We're not war. That's the thing.
So
it takes an act of Congress to declare war.
So it can the way it's worded is either war or invasion. And Trump has said that we've been invaded by Venezuelans. Tren de Aragua, It's an invasion, he said invasion in several tweets that then got cited in court. See, the president says it's an invasion, so that's the legal justification. I am telling you right now, that man ain't coming back. I don't and right
Yeah.
and they put it back to the lower court, so the lower court is now asking for status updates and asking for, hey, basically explain to me what you guys are trying to do to get him back. They're going to keep delaying and really not giving answers, and that court can then go to the Justice
He's pretty
Department.
much dead, huh? He's pretty much dead.
I mean, I don't see him ever coming back alive. So if that court finally decides, hey, I'm going to hold somebody in contempt here because they're not listening to me, who does he have to go to hold them in contempt? Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, who can then decide to just, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to listen to a left-wing activist judge tell the president what to do. So the courts have almost no recourse here. In that situation, in any other normal timeline, Congress would then step in and begin some kind of impeachment proceeding for either the attorney general or the president for disobeying the courts. That ain't going to happen here. So yeah, that guy's not coming back. That's a win for Trump, even though he lost 9-0. And I've been watching all weekend. The right-wing media is celebrating Trump's decision and not bring him back. Like they love it. He's sticking his middle finger up to the courts and to this activist judge, and they love it. He's fighting
That
for
poor
them.
guy, though, that poor individual, that's a human being. That's a life that he just destroyed and nobody cares.
And he's got 2 children. One of them is a 5-year-old autistic kid.
What fucking, like, this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous that you could just throw a life away in the name of in the name of, I don't know what you would
Scoring political points.
Sure. And it's not even scoring political points.
He's showing his base that he's doing something. He's doing the deportation.
Have some freaking compassion, man. What the heck?
Take the legal side of this out of it. You admitted that you accidentally deported someone who shouldn't have been deported, and this person really. JD Vance tried to say that he was a criminal. He has some traffic infractions, nothing major. He ran a red light or whatever. Those are the things on his record. So like, take the legal stuff out. Like, just the right thing to do in this situation is to say, oh shit, we shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. Let's get him back here. The problem is, by the time they realized it was a mistake, he'd already been down there for a couple days, and at that point, you can't bring him back. I can't make that clear enough to you. There's no way they let him go on TV. And if he comes back here, he's going on TV. That'll be the second he gets back, every channel is going to be calling him one. And I'll tell you right now, I think that would be so effective. Most of America, who kind of, though, we're sending people to El Salvador, they don't really know what's going on. They see that interview, and I'm just guessing the way he would describe the conditions there. I think that would quickly turn American sentiment. It'd be like 60 or 65% of America would be not cool with sending people to this place. Or at least, hey, let's do some kind of due process to make sure the people we're sending there really deserve to go there. Which
you say 65% of Americans, but like, how many people actually watch TV?
I think that is one of the things that would break through. Like even the people who don't really pay attention would hear that, they'd see that, it'd be viral. I think, and I think that Trump knows that, and that's why he ain't coming back.
Oh, guess what else he's kind of lost on?
What's that?
He's losing Elon, right? And Elon made a statement the other day. We found $150 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse.
He said that during the cabinet meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's stepping down. How much was he supposed to find?
So it was $2 trillion originally, and then he said he probably can only find $1 trillion. And then now he's saying that he projects. He didn't even say that they've cut it yet. He projects by the end of the 2026 fiscal year they will have cut $150 billion. Which, let me just stop real quick and say, I'm all for if there's $150 billion worth of waste, fraud, or abuse. Keywords: waste, fraud, or abuse happening, and the government finds it. And I'm all for that's great. Any amount is good, even if it was just 1 billion. Yay! I'm glad we found that. The problem is nothing they've found so far has been proven to be fraud or abuse. Because if it was, there would be criminal charges pending on somebody right now. So it's not fraud or abuse. Now, waste is a subjective term, okay? It was stuff that the left likes, say we're giving money to this country or this group or whatever.
Stuff that Congress voted on and passed.
Congress did pass it, but the right thinks, oh, that's wasteful spending. Well, there's some stuff that the right wants to spend money on that the left would say is wasteful spending. So wasteful is in the eye of the beholder, but Fraud or abuse? No. If there was, if they had any real fraud, there would be charges and they'd be making a big deal out of it, a really big deal out of it. So waste.
So are we still going to get our $5,000 checks?
That's not happening. And that was stupid for any of them to say, because if we have a $37 trillion debt and we're finding ways to save money, it needs to go to pay down the debt. I mean, that's seems
Well, I feel like some Republicans were kind of counting on that.
dude,
Like
they
I heard
believed
it
it.
all
And
over the place.
Elon got asked on stage like 2 weeks ago in Wisconsin when they were coming, and he basically ducked the question. He was like, "Oh, that's not up to me. That's to the Trump administration," and that's not happening. So, anyhow, let's get back to one more of Trump's wins real quick. Um, the Columbia University student, that the first one that got like disappeared, like the first one we had video of him getting nabbed off the street. I think he ended up, they couldn't find him for a day or two, and he ended up in Louisiana. His name is Mahmoud Khalil. His case finally got in front of a judge, and the judge said yes, he can be deported for his beliefs. Now, this was a federal judge down in Louisiana, where each side accuses the other side of judge shopping, going to a favorable area where you're going to get a judge that they both do it. They're both correct that the other side's doing it, but they're both doing it, so shut up. Like, that's where I'm at with that.
Oh, totally.
But this will get appealed. It seems like it's the shitty thing to do, but also it seems like Marco Rubio does have a lot of control over who gets to be here and who doesn't if they're on a visa. Like,
yeah.
So that's another win for them. That guy is deported. I saw somebody in the administration, because they were asking, like, well, what about his wife who's pregnant with their unborn child? And they basically said, oh, she can go with him. Like, they can both go wherever they're going to go. So anyhow, that's some, even though
there's no sympathy for people.
Now, you know what other one he's really winning on too? A lot of people have been pointing this out, but since the stock market started tanking, there was an old joke that whenever there was bad news for Republicans, Fox News would immediately bring up the caravan, like right on time. There's a caravan coming towards the border, because it's a great distraction and it's a great way to like really grab the Republican voters, because they fucking hate those caravans, man. There's nothing they hate more than caravans of immigrants heading towards the border. Yeah. So they have a new one. The caravan's not the thing anymore. All week long, as the stock market stuff was going up and down and everything was going bad, you know what they focused most of their time on? Trans athletes. Trans athletes competing in sports, protecting women's sports. And I've seen all week long, I've had CNN on over here and Fox on over here, and I've just been kind of watching both of them while I'm working. And man, I have seen more stories about trans athletes in the last week or two, and it works.
Even CNN's doing it?
No, just Fox. CNN's not really talking about it, but Fox has been on it. There was a fencing match, like fencing, like sword fighting, where a girl took a knee because she was about to be fencing a biological male. She took a knee, and she's a hero for doing that now because she got disqualified for doing it. And then there was a pool, like 8-ball, playing pool. And the two ladies that were both in the finals were trans and were biological males at birth or whatever. And then a disc golfer, Natalie Ryan, she only gets to play in certain tournaments because they go off states rules. So there was a tournament recently she actually got to play in, so she played in the first one. And a disc golfer that was playing on the same card as her, so they're both in the same foursome, like walked up and like even kind of did a practice throw, and then turned and like announced to the audience, like, I am forfeiting this event because I refuse to play with a biological male. And like a couple people clapped and she walked off. It was a very staged type thing. But like, I have seen those clips 40 times a piece this week on Fox. Like, they're airing it nonstop. So they're doing a great job of the whole, the stock market's crashing, but look over here, your women's sports are. And I've told you before, I've just for the record, I've told you before, like, I don't want to say on board, but I'm very open to the idea that, like, hey, someone who is born a man shouldn't be playing women's sports. I have no problem with the LGBTQ community, but also I'm open to that argument because, especially if it's any kind of a combat sport, I agree.
Especially combat sports, And I mean, I have the same. I think we have pretty similar sentiments.
What it comes down to is,
but hold on, but also like this is exactly what's supposed to happen. I think I've mentioned this before. Like, you let the sports take care of it.
Yeah.
And if the women are saying, no, we don't want to play with biological men, then, biological men, trans women, whatever, we're not going to play with trans women, then like the sport will take care of it and not allow that. Maybe they'll create another league, or they'll, they'll create rules for themselves. Like it's not a law. There's no laws involved. There's no like,
Mm.
yeah.
And this is where both sides are hypocritical on all kinds of issues, but this is one of those where Republicans generally are all for states' rights. They don't want the federal government getting involved in anything they don't have to. Get less government in my life is the better. But then they're like, ooh, but we want the government to have a hand in regulating how sports rules go. No, keep the government out. It's either keep the government out or not. It's kind of where I'm at. Also, the only reason that I'm not cool with how they're making it seem like it's an epidemic that's just everywhere, like in every city across. There's like I think 9 transgender athletes in the NCAA like college divisions between all the different sports. There's 9 of them. So
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not a problem, but it's not as widespread as you would believe if you just watch, Fox News or
One of them's
Newsmax
a
or whatever.
fencer.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are combat sports. I don't like I said, to me it seems like it's not that big a problem, but like they're really exploiting that right now. So
How many are in the WNBA?
none in the WNBA that I know of. I haven't heard that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't know. But anyhow, that's where we're at. So real quick, and after Lutnick made his announcement this morning saying that the pause in tariffs on computers, laptops, all that wasn't actually an exemption. We're gonna bring those back. Everybody was saying every time Lutnick speaks, he screws the market up, and that's kind of the running joke on him. But everybody's like, there he goes again. I can't wait to see what the stock futures look like tonight because now that's going to cause a panic. And when I looked before the show, they actually weren't down. They were pretty flat. So I'm going to do a quick refresh and let's take a look at where the futures are heading into tomorrow. Futures are looking all right now.
Okay.
Up 0.2 on the Dow, S&P's up 0.9, and Nasdaq's up 1.37. The bond yields, I'm just going to look at that real quick because that's the other thing that China has the power at any point to start pulling money out of our T-bills. They're up going into, so the yields are higher, which is bad for us. They were 4.5, they're 4.9 right now. So
Okay. Hmm.
so we'll see what tomorrow looks like. I'll tell you, my closing thing I'm going to say is even if they're not good trade deals, if Trump can just start showing, hey, I met with this country, we have a new trade deal. If he can just people that aren't paying attention will start to feel better. And the whole issue is when consumer confidence gets low, people stop spending money in frivolous ways. Like you still got to buy basic stuff, but like maybe that trip I was planning on going on this summer, I'm not going to go on anymore because I don't really know what the economy's going to be like. So I'm going to hold on to my money. And as
Yeah.
people start to hold on to their money, that drives the GDP down. So consumer confidence is that's the ball game right now. So if Trump
Yeah.
can start showing, hey, look, my plan's working. I have all these big, beautiful trade deals. Doesn't matter what the deal is. People will fall for it and they'll go, oh, thank God. Okay, hey guys, we can go to Gulf Shores, Alabama this summer. Trump's fixing it. Go ahead and book the hotel. We're good to go.
Yeah.
And that will instantly be a spike. So this week he needs to show progress towards trade deals with everybody but China. If he could do it with China, awesome. I think Ryan Grimm, I quote him a lot recently from Breaking Points, and he's the main guy for Drop Site News. He did a video like 2 days ago where he said, hey, the trade war is pretty much over, and we lost. Like, China has all the cards. Like, this isn't going to be pretty. And then he came out today, and he said, actually, I was wrong yesterday. I said it was over and we lost. I thought that China was going to let us retreat, and it turns out they're chasing us into retreat. Like they're not, they want to put their foot on our throat. And Trump tried to do the olive branch, and they said, okay, cool, we're going to respond with cutting off rare earth minerals. So this is tough for me. So let me tell a quick
China's
story.
going to show their power for sure. That's what they will. Yeah. They're going to show, they're going to actually show how powerful they are. And they're going to get right up to that line to where, yeah, because Trump doesn't know how to retaliate against China anymore.
Well, here's one thing that we haven't even talked about. President Xi in China was starting to get a little unpopular. Like he didn't have really high favorables, and their economy has been slowing down. They were just their economy GDP was growing, and now it's still growing, but it's slowed down quite a bit. And they're having like money problems. People have been feeling the pain, so he's been kind of unpopular over there. But now they have an enemy. It's almost like when you start a foreign war because your favorability is low. And now, and if he can really stick it to America, that's going to help his standing, his favorability rating. So he has no reason to give in early to us. Like if anything, it benefits him on all fronts to twist the knife. They just
He's gonna twist it, and I don't blame him. I mean, I think all the countries are going to twist the knife a little bit, but I think Xi is going to be the number one. I think China's going to come at us harder than anybody else.
Here's what sucks about all this, okay? Do you remember a month ago? Probably maybe it wasn't even a month, but a month ago when Trump was talking all kinds of mad smack to Canada, and then it turned out that like the USA and Canadian hockey had a play, and
Oh yeah.
it was a weird thing where I said this at the time and it was so weird, but like I was kind of rooting for Canada. Like I don't know why, like just because of all the shit we'd been saying to them, like I kind of wanted them to get us back for it. Canada ended up winning that game, and I was honestly kind of like, yes, like okay, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was weird to be rooting against America. Okay, in
Sure.
this case, there's a 1% part of me that's like, you know what? I hope that she really fucks Trump over on this. Like that's kind of like there's a part of me that's thinking that's terrible for us in every. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
I don't care if you
It
own a
sucks.
business or if you're a freelancer or whatever you do. That's gonna be bad for every American. So we can't think that way at all. Like we have to
It's an
pray.
internal battle that you have to like
No,
diagnose.
and it's not
Right.
even there's no discussion. We gotta hope we get through this part with China really quick and with as little pain as possible. Because if she does decide, no, I'm gonna stick it to Trump here, it's bad for everybody. Left, right, big business, Wall Street, Main Street,
Yeah.
you name it. They have the
Like,
power to really screw us right now. And like I said, that 1% of me that's like, you know what? Get him, G. No, you can't think like that at all. I mean, it sucks, but you can't. If this was
right.
Germany and us, then how bad can Germany really hurt us? China can hurt us, man. And the whole thing that we're holding all the cards. I guarantee you right now, most Republicans still have like, no, we have all the leverage here. Like we're holding the cards. I'm telling you, I really don't think we do, and I think China's demonstrating. And I think that Trump, Lutnick, and Navarro thought that never in a million years would they take it this far. But what do you expect with what everything we're saying about China? How they're so terrible. They've been ripping us off, hitting them with where are we at now? 145%. Yeah, 145% tariff. They basically just went right for the throat. They went back. We went back and forth on reciprocal tariffs for like 3 days, and then they just said, "Screw it, let's go nuclear," and they hit us with this. The next move, the one move they have left, is start pulling all their money out of the bond markets and just crash our economy. That's their
Yeah.
next move.
Yeah.
And I think Trump now knows that. So
You know what else just kind of came to mind is if our military industrial complex kind of starts taking a dip and Lockheed Martin and Halliburton and Boeing, those companies start like tanking
mhm.
because they can't get stuff from China, they're going to cut a deal with China. And you know what that means? We're going to start shipping, they're going to start building stuff for China.
So there's rules about who the companies that give us our weapons. There's all kinds of special rules about what countries they're allowed to do business with. Like so they can't do that. Like I don't
Oh,
even think there's any way they could like shut down in America and reopen in China. I don't know how they would do that.
okay.
What would happen here is right now we sell all of Europe our missiles and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but France is like the only country over there that has their own independent nukes. Um,
Right.
England can't launch a nuke without our say so because there are nukes and we control all the programming and all that. So we could disable their nukes in a heartbeat. Um, I don't think that they're going to start buying nukes from China, but like as far as all the other weaponry, oh, China would love to start selling their jets and their missiles and everything else to Europe, and that would crush our industrial military complex. And just like everything else, there would be downstream effects. Like we all rail against how much we hate Wall Street, we hate the industrial military complex. I get it, but if they collapsed, if either one of those randomly collapsed, it would affect all kinds of things that neither me nor you is thinking about right now. The downstream effects would be terrible. So
Yeah.
right now, if you're Europe and you're looking to put in an order with, any one of our companies that makes missiles, they can't get the materials to make it. Well, crap, we need missiles. Who do we go to? Go to China. And China's probably sitting there smiling, waiting on them, saying, hey, we had a feeling you'd be calling. Yeah, no, we'd love to
Yeah.
sell you missiles. And now you get into a weird situation where not just economically, but in the military, there's an alliance between the EU and China. I can't explain to you how bad that would be. That's
Yeah.
rough. So
Huh.
there's a lot riding on how this goes with China right now and how it goes with the EU and, every country in the world. But like the best thing we could do right now, that clip of Caroline Levitt earlier saying, oh, they need us more than we need them. She didn't say that directly, but that was the gist of it.
Yeah.
Like they need to change their tone right now and start being a little bit more gracious. And hopefully these countries will agree to kind of come back to us at this point. If they don't and they say, nah, and it's
I
not,
really don't think they will. I think it's their whole attitude. We're better than you. Like we can bully you around. We have a bully mentality, and I don't think any of these countries are. I think they're kind of tired of it. They're like, no, we're gonna do our own thing now,
that's what's
which sucks.
sad. And every business in every country just wants stability. That's what makes everybody feel safe is stability.
Sure.
And if you're either looking to invest in America or you're looking to partner with them on trade or anything else, or you could pick China. Like this is the weirdest thing in the world to say, but like right now, from a stability standpoint, China's the obvious answer. Like that, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the partner you want to sign up with because maybe you don't like everything about their deal and what they do, but you know what you're going to get for the next 10 years. It's pretty set in stone right now what it's going to be like if you stick with China. I think it's set in stone that if you stay with America, like at any moment, Trump could decide that he wants to try to bully you into concessions on trade or land. We want to annex part of your land. So that's scary. Is if I was running one of those countries right now, like America's not the obvious answer. I don't want to say China's the obvious answer, but there's not it's a decision you have to make.
Well, what before America's one, China was two.
Russia
Who's
was
three?
three, but I mean, it's a long drop
Russia,
from two to
is
three.
Russia really three?
Yeah, now the European Union as a whole, economically,
That's
is three, but if we're talking militarily, Russia's still three.
Oh, okay. Militarily, yeah. No, yeah, I'm talking. Yeah, economically, it would be U.S., Russia, and the EU.
Well, and actually, and I just saw this tonight. I'm not prepared to talk about it at all, but we keep saying like, oh, we're China's biggest trading partner. They need us. Apparently, we're not. We're their second biggest. Their first biggest is this group of countries that's like Cambodia and all these countries over on that side of the world. I can't even name what countries are over there, but all those countries collectively have a name, and I don't remember what it was. But like they
Okay.
have their own trade alliance, those countries, and now they're trading with China, and that is China's number one market. And that's why China rushed straight to Cambodia for their first trade deal. Before Canada or Germany or anybody else, they went to Cambodia. And I thought that was a little weird, but it turns out like it all has to do with that group of countries. So that's why they were quick to go to Cambodia.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, so I need to look more into that so I can. But yeah, that's kind of shocking that I thought that America was I keep hearing that we're the number one consumer of their goods, and apparently we're not.
Oh, that's like South Asia.
Yeah,
So it's like
Southeast Asia.
Yeah, Cambodia, Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, Bangladesh. Oh, Bangladesh is India. Hanoi. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually makes sense, huh?
Yeah.
That's
So,
their biggest trading partner. It's such a tiny little. I guess they
like I
cram
said,
a lot there.
I didn't do enough reading on this, but that's what I saw tonight. So I'm not prepared at all to defend that. I just saw that. I wish I could remember the name of those countries. Yeah. Anyhow, it's a trade alliance they have over there. I'll look it up. I'll be
Okay,
ready for it next time. But
I got you.
so anyhow, that's all I have for tonight is that this week is very crucial trade wise to get some deals ironed out and to de-escalate with China. China doesn't want to de-escalate. We need to figure out a way to do it. What isn't it be funny if at the end of this we have a worse trade deal with China than we did before?
Oh, it's gonna happen. So
Even if
then Trump lost on trade. He's lost on immigration, or he's back down on immigration. He's
but
lost
he's
on
going to spin that
Doge.
into a win. I'm telling you,
Well, he's
it's
gonna
a win
spin
for
it,
him.
but they're all actually losses, right? Um, he's lost on Doge. What else has he lost on? Those are the big three. Those are the three things he's like ran on or somewhat ran on. He's lost on them already. He's already backing down on all of them. He's a loser. He's a three-time loser again. And like, so where's he? What's his next big thing he wants to do? I'm trying to
So
remember what he campaigned on.
getting rid of deporting people. So right now I would say the two reasons he won is the economy and immigration. Those are the top two why people voted for him. I think that if you voted for him, you're very happy with everything he's done immigration. He has kept that promise in their eyes. Like, and
How
the
many
fact,
people has he how many people has he gotten rid of?
oh, I think it's still less than Biden did until they get this new budget worked out. They don't have the money to do the mass deportations that he wants to do. Um, but it doesn't matter. It's all about optics and the way that he's doing it. Like, they love it. They love the flights. They love the fact that he's telling the courts to go F themselves. He's winning on immigration. That is a campaign promise that he has kept, and they are happy with. Okay. Now the
But now he's
economy.
backing down and he's going to let people stay for food and hotels and whatever.
All the places we need them. The amnesty that everybody has been suggesting for the last 20 years.
Yeah, he's giving them amnesty. Okay.
But and then on the economy, he's at 42% overall rating on how people feel about how he's handling the economy. So it's only 27% of independents like it and the rest don't, and then most of the Democrats don't. But that means he still has a pretty high. I didn't see the exact number. I'm gonna bet he's still like 70 or 80% in the Republican Party as far as his handling of the economy. Like, I gotta believe that. So
Okay. And you think it can't get lower than 37%?
like I said, his floor seems to be 36 to 38%.
Okay.
And that's of America. That's not of the Republican Party. That's of America. His overall.
I see like the red states are going to get hit the hardest, right? In a lot of these, the poor states usually get hit the hardest.
Okay. And a lot of these countries are targeting their tariffs at like red states and Republican voters. So smart on them. But
yeah. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder if I'm really curious if it's going to get down to lower than 37 now, because
I
mean,
think
if people can't eat and there's like whole city or whole states that just are hurting big time because of Trump, because the economy is tanking or because the tariffs are tanking their economy, the statewide economy, then like people are going to turn on him. Maybe. I don't know.
Here's the if. Like, yeah, you would think so, but what if he and his media echo chamber are able to tell you that it's because Joe Biden, this was a ticking time bomb that Joe Biden left him, and it was going to happen no matter what. This was the Biden economy. And sadly,
I've already heard Fox News say that multiple times.
So sadly, I think that 36 to 38% are going to buy that. And nothing that happens will prove to them or will convince them that Trump and his tariffs or his tax cuts or anything else caused this. It was Biden. So that's where it's at. Now, I will say I have seen more like they're not turning on Trump, but they're not as eager to defend them. I think on a lot of the tariff stuff, they kind of either they don't want to try to defend it, or maybe and a lot of people just aren't knowledgeable on world global trade, and they don't really want to go to the mat on that. But I can't find anybody for the most part who's willing to really defend the tariffs to me. So, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean they're turning on him. That just means that, well, of course he's going to get one thing wrong, but look at all the other good things he's done. Like, that's kind of, I think, where it's at.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just such a nightmare. Okay.
It's gonna be okay, man. It's not. I'm very interested in how this week's gonna go. I will say, I gotta believe that he's gonna pump out a couple quick deals with whatever the most, like Israel. Obviously, Israel will do whatever he wants and put it on paper. So like we're gonna see a signed trade deal with Israel first. Like, but then what are the other countries where like the leader of that country and him are buddy buddy?
Russia.
He can't do one with Russia. I don't think he can do one with Russia right now.
Get Russia to sign a peace
No, I mean he
agreement
could, but we have so many sanctions on them because of the Ukraine war. Like I don't think he can really do that. So
yeah, he can't get a ceasefire from them. I don't think he's going to get anything from
the leader. I can't remember if it's Hungary or Turkey. Viktor Orban. Those two are buddies. I don't know if they produce anything.
Oh yeah, Viktor Orban.
Hungary, the prime minister of Hungary. But like, I don't know what their exports are like. But like I said, if he can just start showing any trade deals, doesn't matter if the country sells us anything, just show a trade deal and anything that Fox News.
What about the Penguins? He could definitely make a trade deal with the Penguins.
Good luck. They haven't even let him talk to the king yet, the king penguin. So they haven't called. But no, it's going to be. I think that Trump's White House is, if they're not already, they're going to start working the phones tomorrow. All the countries they've been. Supposedly, all these countries have said that, like, because Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, has said repeatedly, like the phones have been ringing off the hook. People can't wait to make a trade deal. And these other countries are admitting, like, no, yeah, we've tried to call. We're calling to ask, what does he want? And so far, they haven't gotten an answer. And this was just as of today. They're saying, yeah, no, we called and we asked, what does Trump want? And they haven't called us back and told us what they want yet. So they're open. Hey, well, they were open before the tariffs went into effect. What is it he wants from us? The thing is, he's not clear on what he wants because he says not all of these things can't be true at the same time, but he says like, no, the tariffs are here to stay because the point of the tariffs is to bring manufacturing back to America. So that's why we have the tariffs. But then in the next sentence, he'll say, oh, no, the tariffs are negotiable. It's all about balancing the trade, blah, blah, blah. And he kind of, the whole bringing back manufacturing, that's not real. I really just want to balance the trade. And it's like, which one do you, if you really want to bring back manufacturing, then stick with the higher trade and make the companies come back here. It's going to kill us economy wise, but do that.
Totally.
If you're just trying to get a better trade deal, then answer the phone, call them back, and tell them what you want and start working on an actual negotiation. You know, I don't know if it doesn't.
How old is he? He's 80.
He's 79. He's going to be 80 on June 14th. And do you know anything about the astrological signs? I don't know what it is. The zodiac signs?
I'm an Aries.
I keep seeing different people posting that apparently you said this last time, but Trump's birthday is on like the 14th of June and Xi's birthday is the very next day, the 15th, which means they're both Geminis. I don't know what any of that stuff means, but everybody's like, oh, shit, they're both Geminis. This is bad. Like, apparently Geminis are the type to not back down and whatnot. So that's
makes sense.
That's what we're dealing with. And just if you just look at those two, both of those two are strong leader, ego-driven people that don't want to be seen as the loser in anything. So can they come to a deal where they both walk away claiming to be the victor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm kind of tired of this.
Yeah,
he's worn me out.
Dude, again, the tariffs have only been in effect for 5 days at this point. Okay. that's how long. And we've had so many changes. So, yeah.
He's only been president for 100 days.
Has it been 100 days already?
Okay. Well, 100. Feels like 1 million. Oh man.
when Google autocomplete stuff for you? I typed how many days, and the very first top thing that popped up was how many days left in Trump's presidency, which was what I was going for. There is a tick counter. You want to guess how many days of Trump's presidency we have left?
Let's see. Can I use a calculator?
Nope. Give me off the top of your head.
Just tell me. It's almost like 1,200.
1,377 days left. So we're almost through it, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, we're almost through it.
Oh God.
If he can just, I never thought I'd say this, but if he can just get the trade stuff figured out and just get back to his normal stuff that wears me out, I'll be so happy. Like right now, it's one of those where it's like, I'll deal with all the other stuff he's going to do. Let's just fix the trade and the economy, and then he can rant about all the things he wants to rant about. Shower pressure, that's another thing. He signed an executive order last week. You know how he always talks about water pressure in toilets and showers and all that? Well, good news, he fixed that. That's another W for Trump. He signed an executive order to allow us to have high flow water shower heads or whatever. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay. And his bill of health is great. Did you see? Oh my gosh! You see, Carolyn Leavitt was doing her thing, and it was. I forget what they were talking about mostly, but she took one question. I don't know who asked the question, but she only took one question from the media, and the question was, he said, Donald Trump, he looks way better and way fitter than he even did in his last administration. Like, how is he doing it? Is he working out with RFK or what? That was the only question.
The lady that asked that question was from a company that I'd never heard of at first called Lindell TV. And I was like, Lindell TV.
Lindell.
So she's, you know how they made a big deal about how they're going to let new media into the briefing room this year. So they're bringing in all those types. So yeah, she was the first question they got to be asked, and it was Mike Lindell's media company, which is like, it's like an internet media company. They don't have a channel. Anyhow, yeah. So
That was the
But
only question, right?
I will say this. Let me give Trump some props. I think he's lost weight, honestly. Like, if you look at Trump recently, and maybe he's just getting old, but he does look thinner than he previously has. Now, he had his physical on Friday at Walter Reed. Did you see his the stats on him?
No.
6'4", 223 pounds, 4%
Okay.
body fat. Okay. If you're 6'4",
4%?
yeah. If you're 6'4", 223, that's linebacker. Like, that's I it's one of those where I don't quite buy it. I'm like, he's not too. I think they say 224 or 223.
Did Rodney Jackson do it again?
No, because he's a congressman now.
Oh.
And the report the doctor wrote up too said Donald Trump is very healthy. He does this, he does that, and he has many victories on the golf course. Which is like, hold on, like if you're a doctor, that's not medical. Like this is clearly. Hold on, Trump's annual physical. Sorry, I got it wrong. Let me correct for the record. 6'3", 224 pounds.
Okay.
Again, that's linebacker numbers right there. That's a hell of an athlete.
He's shorter than Biden, right? How tall is Biden?
I don't think he was shorter than Biden. I think Trump is a tall guy.
There was a photo of Trump walking next to Biden whenever they did their meeting, and he is actually shorter than Biden.
It says Biden's 6 foot even.
Yeah, let's look up Trump walking next to Biden.
So I found there's a headline from the Times of India. Is Biden taller than Trump? White House photo sparks height discussions on social media. Trump probably was walking slouched over. Trump has terrible posture.
No, I mean, I'm looking at some of this stuff. Yeah, maybe he has a little bit, but not 3 inches of slouch.
Another headline.
Like, I'm looking at a lot of these things, and Biden is taller than Trump.
Even on MSN. Yeah, there's a lot of headlines about it. I think it was one of those where the angle was just wrong.
No, I'm looking at them straight on, walking right next to each other. Trump's shoulders are back. Biden's like they may be the same height. Biden looks like an inch taller than him though.
Yeah, I'm just telling you right now. Everybody that's ever met Trump has said he is tall. I think I refuse to believe this photo. I see the photo. I think it's one of those where there's something about it. I'm not going to let you start this conspiracy theory. Can you bring up the photo? Can you share your screen on the photo?
Okay. Look at this one right here.
Yeah. So it's the same photo I was seeing. And yeah, they look the same height there. Let me see.
Well, who's this guy? Maybe we can.
That's Kevin McCarthy, who is his chief of staff.
How tall is Kevin McCarthy?
Hold on.
Kevin McCarthy looks like a little taller than him. I mean,
Kevin
look when they're sitting down too.
Kevin McCarthy's 6'3".
Okay.
Oh wait, wait, that's a Kevin McCarthy that plays Major League Baseball.
Oh.
Politician. Let's see here. And apparently there's just not like stats on
politician height.
Yeah, it's harder to find. 6'1". It says he's 6'1". I don't know how credible that is.
Okay, so that was okay. So look at this picture right here with him sitting next to Joe Biden in the same chair.
You can't sitting. You can't tell. I refuse to take that. The one of them walking together does kind of make you wonder. But
right here, how tall is Melania?
Oh, she's got heels on. You can't even do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to let you sit here and badmouth my president. My president is 6'3", and he is taller than Joe Biden.
Look at this one. Look at this one. Joe Biden, right next to Joe Biden. Boom.
He looks an inch or two taller than Biden there.
But look how much he's a little bit closer. Look how he's leaned in on the
that's the other thing. You know how Trump does that thing where when he stands and talks to reporters, he leans way forward. Have you ever seen those photos from the side?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe he's just leaning, and you never know.
Dude, I'm pretty sure he's not 6'3".
I guarantee
I'll go with 220, but not 6'3".
Yeah. All right. Yep. I'll let you take a day or two and put together your best case that he's lying about his height, and then we can talk about it. All right. Get that off of there.
Stop
No,
sharing.
I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna let you poison our audience with your lies, your liberal lies. So, all right, I got
All
nothing
right.
else for tonight.
Cool,
You got
man.
anything else you want to chat about?
I think we're good.
All right, have a good night, brother.
All right, later.
Later.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.